Right, we're going to grate this patio today, and there was 10% chance that it was going to rain this morning. That chance is gone now. Sun's coming out. It's going to be on this patio all day. When you're grouting, you've got to think about the drying times. It's always a bit tentative when you're doing grouting, but what we've done now, we've gone all the way over. Though we've used a 4mm spacer, we've still gone round, and there's the odd little tile that wasn't quite 4mm because it was twisted, it moved or whatever. So we've gone with the cutter. If you look down here now, you can see a little bit of dust on there. So we're just going over. I've cut it out, and we're just making sure that there's no little what we call little snots, like cement snots, little bits and pieces, and we're making sure it's nice and clean. I'll go over with it with a dryer then, make sure there's no foreign particles in there. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to be putting this on a hyperlapse so you can have a look. Well, it's all cleaned off, and like I said, I went round and made sure that there was a couple of little spaces that were stuck in. We pulled those out. We made sure that all our joints were at the 4mm. We've cut them up. There was a couple of two little cuts that we had to put in. But the things you've got to worry about if you don't point your patio straight away is things like leaves. Leaves start breaking down. They're a contaminant. They leach tannins out of them and starches, which is no good for the pavement itself because it will wick back up from the underside. So you've got to make sure that they're out. Ideally, you would like to point this straight away, but it's not always the case because of the weather. But this is a beautiful looking patio, and we got to get it right. And it's absolutely, and it's a very big patio. It's a big patio as well, but we've gone over, we've cleaned it all up, make sure there's no more foreign particles anywhere because we don't want it getting into the grout. The grout is a beautiful looking grout. Look at this, look at the colour of that. So we're going to get that on now. I'm going to put this on time lapse, and you'll be able to see how we're doing it here. I'll show you how it's coming on. Very little staining at the moment. We've just got to leave it and try and keep your nerve and wait for it to start to dry before you start wiping and mopping it off, because what will happen is you start adding water to the surface. You've got to let that dry a little bit in the joints. I love getting you lot in a dark shed. No, seriously, yesterday we pointed at a patio, didn't we? And we got it all cleaned up, and Leon and Jack stayed on later on to clean it. But it rained heavily last night. There you go. Wow. Two little holes here where it's just dropped out there. Two holes, I just noticed that. But that's solid, absolutely solid, all over, no mess, all cleaned up nicely, and all along the edges of these planks. And what you've got with these planks, you've got these 1.2 by 300, you've got a lot of jointing to do. And looking at that, that's absolutely solid. Come over here, Jack, let's have a little look over here. No, No, no holes at all. Just over there was 2 holes as soon as I come in, but look at it. Oh, I'll tell you what, this is perfect. This is absolutely perfect. If you look down here, come over here, Jack, you can just see, we'll just zoom in on that bit there. You can see that we've grouted this patio all over, and all along here, there is nothing, no staining whatsoever. Just go over there for our viewers, Jack, and just have a little look around randomly and just see if there's anything. Just go down here nice and close on there. You can see there's no staining. What you normally see when you have somebody who points a patio, it's normally along the edges where the staining occurs, but there's nothing here at all whatsoever. And we've had the rain, and there's no water holding, is there? So we've had a good heavy downpour last night. The grouting's gone off absolutely solid, but there's no water holding on this patio whatsoever. And well, there's none, is there? No. That's right. I think the good thing about this is, well, we've got a south-facing garden, so we have the sun that's going to be on here most of the day anyway, and we had a good sunny day yesterday. Though we're into well into the autumn, but there's no staining at all, and it's gone off solid, and it is a beautiful colour. And what you find is, no matter what grout that you actually use or what colours you use, is that when it rains, when you're outside, you don't really notice the colours because it goes dark because it gets saturated with water. So even if you use some of those lighter colours, and that's why I always go for a grey generally, unless it looks too adverse with the paving that you've chosen. But generally, it's looking. The dog's what's it?